Hello, security people. Again, I am not Renee Smalls. She wasn't able to join us today, but I will be interviewing Lomar Lilly, coming from Kingston, Jamaica, telling us about how he broke into cybersecurity and giving us some insight as to breaking into this career field in a different part of the world. So far, we've had individuals from the UK, all around the US. So this will be our first Caribbean participant. So Lamar, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what made you interested in cybersecurity.
All right. Hi, everyone. So my journey into security started from I was actually a child. However, like at the age of 16, there I learned ZenMap at the time. I knew of Nmap, but I did not know how to use a console. So ZenMap was my go-to, and also Nessus. Didn't know what I was doing back then. I was just playing around. My brother is a software developer, so seeing what he did influenced me a lot. So I decided that I would go to college and I'd study to become a software developer as well. And I turned out liking that kind of a thing. So I was what you call hell bent on becoming a software developer. Security was always just a hobby for me, so I'd play around with CTF challenges and create my own labs and stuff like that. But that was a hobby for me because one, I actually did not know there was a security career path out there. I wasn't aware of that. So what happened is one day at school in university, my teacher, my lecturer, who was lecturing about computer security, he said that the university had some partnership with the University of North Carolina, and they were putting on a reverse engineering competition. So I decided that that sounds fun. I was not 100% familiar with reverse engineering at the time, but I still took up the challenge and I participated remotely in that competition, and I was placed like seventh.
Okay.
So all of that was a learning experience, learning assembly, learning Windows binaries and all of that. That was a learning experience while in a competition. And I did well enough that the university that I attended decided that, they would help me out with getting me to visit the University of North Carolina to see what their security program is like. So on that trip, I went and I met with the dean of the computing school over there, as well as one of the head lecturers for the security computer security department, and went through their course for 1 week, and it was scary because I was new. I knew stuff, but I didn't really understand what knowledge I had. So going through the program there for a week, it was a scary experience. I learned a lot, and what happened was at the end of that, they were telling me the lecturer over by the University of North Carolina was telling me that, hey, the security field is something that you should actually be looking at getting into because you seem that you're very proficient in it. I was like, no, um, I'm more of a software developer kind of guy. That's what I've been doing because I did some freelance development during university. So that's what I was into. So, he said that I should look, do some research about the cyber field, the information security space. And I did. When I came back to Jamaica, I decided that, okay, I would give this security profession a chance. So I went out, did some research. At the time, I I wasn't sure where in Jamaica to get a job in information security or cybersecurity because that's not something we hear. Well, back then we didn't hear much about that kind of profession out here in Jamaica. So in doing my research, I was mostly looking overseas, so in the US, UK, in Europe,
Hmm.
So looking on job descriptions, I usually see some certs that are recommended. So I always see Security Plus, CEH, CISSP. Those are some of the famous ones I always see. So I began looking into these certifications to see what they're about. And that's where, everything really got running when I decided that, okay, I'll take on the CompTIA Security Plus certification. Um, and from there, when I did that exam and I passed, you know, uh, I had it on LinkedIn, and now I began to start getting a lot of interest from from employers. Can you
Hmm.
still hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Seems like the
I can
stream
hear
just
you.
went dead.
Can you hear me? Lamar, can you hear me?
Oh,
Okay.
all hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, okay, okay. Good, good, good,
Okay.
good. So where was that? Yes. So Security Plus, and from there, I start getting a lot of messages from employers saying, so this is on LinkedIn. So what happened
Hmm.
is I started my LinkedIn page. Well, I always had a LinkedIn page, but I wasn't using it. So I decided to get it up to date. And just by doing the Security Plus exam, passing that exam, having it on my LinkedIn profile, I began getting a lot of traffic from potential recruiters and employers. So that's how I really started out. So I didn't send out any resumes actually to land the job that I'm in now. It was actually through LinkedIn. Um, my current employer now found me on LinkedIn,
Okay.
saw the good work that I was doing and my interest, and decided to give me an opportunity to work in the field in Jamaica. So during that time, before I even start working, so I had the contract with Just Security Plus. I got hooked. So I decided that what can I do after Security Plus? So, at CompTIA have like what do you call it, their roadmap in cybersecurity.
Uh-huh.
So when I saw that, I was like, okay, so from Security Plus, it's CYSA. So I went for the CYSA Plus certification. I studied. I passed that exam as well, and that got even more interesting recruiters and employers worldwide on LinkedIn messaging me saying, "Hey, send us a resume. We're interested in hiring someone of your skills with your skills." And from there, I decided that I want to know what's next. And
Hmm.
on the roadmap from CompTIA, it was CASP at the time, so they didn't have Pentest Plus yet, and it wasn't CASP Plus as yet. So it was CASP at the time, and I decided that I'd go for that because CompTIA said that that was their master level certification. And during all this time, I was still unemployed because the contract was to start in June, and between March and June, I was able to get the Security Plus, CYSA Plus, and the CASP exam certification. I passed all of them before I even start working in the field. And with all of that, adding to my LinkedIn profile. So if you realize I'm saying LinkedIn a lot, LinkedIn is like probably the best platform to get yourself out there, whether you live in a small country or a big country. The networking, um, the ability to network with other people there is great. So LinkedIn was the main drive that got me where I am today with the studies that I put in getting in the certifications. So after that, I decided I wanted some more hands-on skills because what happened was CompTIA is, though they have performance-based questions, So like these are questions that would actually test your knowledge with you having to do something rather than the straight multiple choice. Um, I wanted to see what other vendors were out there that could give me hands-on training. So that's when I found eLearn Security. Let's see, I can send the link in the chat. All right. So eLearn Security, they offer security training for everybody at all levels. So from beginner to intermediate to advanced. If you're interested in red team, that's penetration testing, the offensive side of security. The blue team side, that's the defense. If you're into that, they offer hands-on training and exam. So after that, I did some research and I found them, and I decided to take the eLearn Security Junior Penetration Test course, and that's where really everything made sense. And again, this happened between March and June
Okay.
before I got employed. So I had a lot of I gained a lot of knowledge from that course. It was 100% hands on. So ZenMap and Nmap and Nessus now made perfect sense, even though I I would have done the theoretic knowledge in prepping for the CompTIA exams with eLearn Security. I actually got the hands-on experience, and for the exam, I needed to know how to use these tools. So that course really taught me the how to properly use those tools, and from there, I began working in June of 2018 the in the year of 2018, and that's where my career really took off, because when I start working, the first meeting I sat in, everything made sense. All the things I read in books, all the videos I've watched, uh, it was there from day one in my first meeting, and because all that hardware that I put in before I got into the industry, everything made sense. So after that, I continued with my learning. I think that's something that I'm very addicted to now. I say I'm addicted because after starting working in the field, I did the Pen Test Plus certification exam, and I passed that one as well. Um, and I did another one from eLearn Security called the EWAP, so that's eLearn Security Web Penetration Tester. I did that one also, and I passed. And tomorrow I'm starting the road to OSCP, my 90-day my 90-day
Wow.
access begins tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. So the to sum up everything, two things
Okay.
got me where I am today. One, I'm gonna say LinkedIn, because um, if it wasn't for that platform and that networking experience that
Yeah.
it gave me, hearing from other people, for each of these certifications, what I'd do is I'd connect with people who already did the exams and already are in the field, did the exams, and could offer me some advice. So, like, where can I go to learn some of these things? What's the exam like? What do you do after you've passed the exam? All of that I got from persons that I've connected with on LinkedIn. So
Hmm.
LinkedIn is a very uh, good platform to get yourself out there, especially if you're interested in cybersecurity and information security. Secondly, it was what got me here also was the certs, because what happened now, having all these certs, I have a lot of options, and with the options that you now have, you're not like bogged down into, all right, I'm a pen tester and I can only work here in Jamaica. No, if I decided that I want to work in the US, the UK, Canada, Europe, I now have that opportunity, because what I've realized is when recruiters look at you, unless you have something that they can read, in most cases, if they don't know you and know that you actually have the skills, usually what they're going to take at face value is what you have, your academics. So if they're looking for security professionals, they're gonna look for like the some stack certs that uh, persons persons who have these skills would have these certifications. So the certs and LinkedIn are what I'd like to say, the two things that got me where I'm today. So
Okay. Um,
ah,
question.
that's me in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
Can you hear me?
Um,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Lamar, can you hear me?
Questions? I'm not sure if you're saying anything I'm not hearing. Uh, no, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me come out and come back in 1 second.
No.
Um, Pardon the technical difficulties. Can you hear me now? Hi, Lamar, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Still not hearing.
Okay, 1 second.
All right, so I guess if anyone on the call have any questions, they could send it in the chat, and I could, answer any questions that you might have. Ah,
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you.
Sorry about that. Okay, different view, different camera. Let's keep going. Okay, sorry about that. So, in your background, you had software development. How do you think that influenced your education or how you liked um, pen testing or going down that path?
I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
So you have a software development background. Did that positively influence you going down the pen testing path? Did that help you?
Yes. So with with already having the knowledge of software development, it was easier to choose that route because um, the role of pen tester still had me working with a lot of code, and I already understood code and how it works. So that also influenced that.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Um, and for those, while you were in software development, you mentioned that you had a curiosity for security. Do you think you
Yes.
approached software development differently during your education with an eye for security, or not really?
No, so at first, I did not have any eye for security at all because it
Okay,
was a hobby for me, and I didn't know that there was a security field, a security profession. So it wasn't really in my scope. It was
okay,
after coming to the US and hearing about the possibilities, then I came back and decided to pursue it.
okay. So you mentioned you reached out to individuals on LinkedIn that had the different certifications that you were interested in. Um,
Mhm.
how did you go about studying and preparing for and feeling that you're ready to take on these exams and keep your skill up to date?
Yeah, so what I did is I'd ask for on LinkedIn, I'd ask these persons for resources. And so they'll usually send me like links to books on Amazon or on Udemy. And I'd go and I'd purchase those materials and I'd use them. Um, Also, doing my research, I found that there were companies in Jamaica that did teaching for these certifications, but I wasn't really interested in that because it was kind of too expensive.
Hmm.
So I decided to go the self study route. So for all these certs, it was self study.
Okay. Do you have a lab at home that you did some of your exploits on or some of your pen testing on?
Yes. So in my earlier years, I actually started out building my own versions of malware uh, in these labs. But today, what I do is I'll use other platforms like
Okay.
VoneHub and Hack the Box. I'd use those for my labs instead because they already have all that infrastructure there, and I can just connect to them and do whatever testing or training or practice I want. So that's what I do now. I don't have a physical lab at home anymore.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that looking for an information security career in Jamaica wasn't something that was very popular there, or you
Yeah.
didn't think so. How's that view changed since?
Well, actually, it has changed a lot. It's actually a booming business or potentially booming business here. Just that I've never heard of it. Well, then again, I wasn't really looking in that direction. But
Okay.
now in the field, I'm seeing a lot of ads for security professionals in Jamaica now.
And what do you do to keep your skills going and to help those in your community?
So what I do is I follow I follow the news in the industry to see what's new because every day something is new. I try to get training elsewhere from other vendors. Um, so whether or not it's for certification or not, anywhere I see a potential learning platform, I'd go there. I know that in the US and the UK, there's this good new platform called Immersive Labs.
Okay.
Um, because courtesy of CompTIA, I got a 1 month free trial of it, and it was very good. So if you're interested, if you're in that region and you're interested in practicing or developing skills in cybersecurity, you can check out Immersive Labs. Let me see if I can send the
Okay.
link.
Uh, while you're doing that, we have a question from Eric Kim in the audience. He asked,
Yeah.
how do you identify and seal knowledge gaps within your learning and development?
All right. So it that comes through experience. So when you're in the field, you'll know what you don't know. Because right out of the box, even with all the certs, all the training, the self training that you could do, you'll never know exactly what your gaps are until you have been placed in a situation in the field to say, oh, I probably need to brush up on this or learn this. So that's how I identify gaps.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
We're approaching the bottom of the hour, and I want to be respectful of your time. So I guess I'll ask my last famous question. If you had to share one piece of information for someone else, whether in Jamaica or anywhere else in the world that's looking to follow down your path, maybe they were a software developer looking into security, what sage advice would you share with them?
I would say start now, start when you're younger, because even a year ago, my my youthfulness that I still have was more vibrant back that time that I could do even more back then, earn more certs and all of that, versus now, because now that I'm working, uh, that time is not there to do all of that now. So if you are interested, I would say start now, start while you're young, and start while you have time.
Okay, okay. Um,
Yes.
and anything else from the perspective of those that might be in an area that isn't as developed, so in the Caribbean or some countries where they don't have the exposure like the US or Europe might for
Mhm.
tackling a career and getting access to resources. Any advice there for them?
Right. Yes. So in cases like that, you don't let that be any kind of barrier. Still have your goals, set your goals, pursue them, and as I said, if you can find people on LinkedIn to connect with, to mentor you, and sometimes these are the people that will give you the opportunities that you're looking for, be it foreign or local. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lomar, for sharing your journey, your path of breaking into security from software development straight out of college
Mhm.
and in Jamaica. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too, man.
Okay, take care. Bye.